Hello. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Please, how about the speakers?
Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Okay. Yes, okay. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Hello,
Yeah,
Collins.
I think you're
Good morning. Good afternoon.
clear.
Afternoon. Please, can you confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you
Okay.
too.
All right. Please, can the audience confirm if they can hear me? Okay, so I want to believe everyone can hear me. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Just briefly, how is everybody feeling? Are we excited for today's session? Please drop how you feel right now. Are you excited for the session? What are you looking forward to? Okay, everyone just confirm they can hear me.
Yeah,
Okay, well, so I want to believe everybody's excited to be here. Personally, I'm very excited. I'm happy. It's always a pleasure having to come up and either speak or moderate because this is a really, really beautiful opportunity to meet incredible individuals, to rub minds with amazing people. And I'm definitely here for it all. Okay, Bolaji says he's excited. I'm more excited. Bolaji Noibi is putting up the love heart emoji. We're really excited to be here. So, without any further ado, let's get to know our speakers for today. So, our first speaker is a seasoned cybersecurity engineer with a stellar resume that boasts an MSc in cybersecurity and forensics, complemented by a wealth of industry rated certifications. With a career spanning over 9 years, he has consistently excelled in diverse cybersecurity domains, including network security, application security, penetration testing, and cloud security services. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for beloved Momo. We can just do a little snap. Welcome, beloved. We're happy to have you. We're happy to have you here.
thank you guys for having me. Yeah, I've
Yes.
been in the industry for a while, so um, I hope I'll be able to contribute to the success of the individuals here. So I'm happy to be here.
Definitely, definitely. We're definitely looking forward to having to hear from you. So, next on our list is a seasoned technical manager and a cybersecurity expert. He has shown his professional prowess over the years and has worked for companies such as Microsoft, where he did not just provide support to clients, but led a group of engineers to drive customer satisfaction while delivering technical excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, make even more noise for Agu Collins.
Yeah, hi guys. Good afternoon, everyone. I am very glad and excited to be part of this session today, and I hope we will be able to make meaningful contributions. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. We're always looking forward to our incredible speakers. And like we've said, everyone, these are two professionals in the industry. We've heard all they've been able to do, the mind blowing companies they've been working with. So you're definitely very, very certain that this session is going to be very juicy, very informative, and definitely very beneficial. So without wasting much of our time, let's go straight into our questions. So the first question is going to be, how can young tech talents proactively prepare themselves for the ever evolving tech industry, particularly in the context of cloud security? So, Collins, you can start. Tell us what you think about this. How young, let me come again, how young tech talents can proactively prepare themselves for the ever evolving tech industry, particularly in the context of cloud security.
Okay, so as it regards preparations, getting ready for the future, and getting yourself ready for the evolvements. I think basically one thing I would recommend is continuous improvement. Continuous improvement in the fact that you don't just have to relax within yourself. I would give you a scenario, a live scenario on my own journey. So before I went into cloud at all, and even before joining cloud security, I started as with the traditional IT practices. I was a system administrator with a company. We were dealing with boxes and all that. But I took it up on myself to say that, okay, we have a solutions unit, then we deliver boxes which houses those solutions. Those are physical servers. But then I was beginning to see, I started reading things about Azure, AWS, and all that. So personally, I started researching to see how we could buy into this upcoming technology. And then that was how I delved into Azure. I was making my research on Azure before I joined my next company, and that landed me a cloud infrastructure engineer job. So this is as a result of my personal readings, personal research, and improvements upon myself. And then when the opportunity comes and it meets preparation,
Preparation.
it happens like magic. So that's same thing. And even when you talk about cloud security, it is still the same formula because I moved from a cloud infrastructure engineer, a technical manager, to going into security. And this is as a result of identifying opportunities and then doing more personal research and study on them. Okay, I was doing infrastructure, then we would do advisory, talk to customers, go to security center, give recommendations, and then help customers close out these gaps identified in terms stuffs like closing out ports that shouldn't be open, um, hardening resources like virtual machines and all that. So from that, I understood that, oh, cloud wouldn't go just like that. There is a need for security or securing the resources you have on cloud. So I continued my journey that way, and that was how I was able to progress. So I would say continuous improvement, personal learning, and continuous improvement. Thank you.
Okay. That's very informative. That's actually very, very nice to hear. I think definitely having to hit on what you said about preparation meeting opportunity. I think it's very important to always ensure that you are prepared, like you said, having to get yourself updated on happening trends and things of that sort. And when the opportunity showed itself, it was very easy. Like you said, it happened like magic. Very
Yeah.
easy for you to be able to hop on it. So I think that's something that is definitely worth highlighting. So, Beloved, what do you think about this? How can young tech talents proactively prepare themselves for the ever evolving tech industry, particularly in the context of cloud security?
Okay. You're putting more context on cloud security. Okay, that's fine. I will jump on that. So for me, Collins made a very good point there. It's about consistent improvement. And again, cloud itself, I would say, if you're new to IT, if you're new to technology, I think is the best way to introduce yourself into technology. Because going from my background, I mean, I worked with as a solution architect with Weco systems, integration companies in Nigeria. We deploy firewalls, we deploy other stuffs. I went into the banking sector, network engineer, network security engineer. And then when I was doing network security engineer, I was actually doing application security by the side. And an opportunity came at another bank. I became application security engineer. I also had to lead a team in that aspect. Then I was also learning cloud, and cloud came. So I went to AWS, and that was it. Right now, I'm currently doing security of the cloud. I've done security in the cloud. I'm doing security of the cloud now. But irrespective, what I'm trying to say is that cloud itself, getting into cloud is not as difficult as coming from the traditional background, because traditional background you have to learn a lot of things to come up to cloud. But cloud is very specific. Once you get into the cloud, you could easily find your way around. So that's by the way. Now, when it comes to learning or trying to come into cloud security, I would recommend two things. Um, Try and go into scripting. Yes, scripting is very important. It will give you an edge in the sense that when you're working with these cloud providers, they actually want people to have this programming mentality for you to be able to create solutions. Probably there are some processes that are too slow. You come up with a script to solve the problem easily. 2 minutes, you're done. So they love stuffs like that. If you really want to grow in cloud, I think having scripting knowledge is very, very great. And also, um, I don't know about Azure, but I will talk more of other cloud providers. Having Linux knowledge is very key, very, very key. Um, if you see most of the product outside, even apart from cloud, talk about any security product, most of them are developed on a Linux platform. I've seen the back end of Cisco firewall before. I know which Linux platform is using. I've seen for Checkpoint, I know which Linux platform is using. So a couple of other products like Skybox and all that. I've seen so many things. So Linux is key. When you want to learn security, Linux is key. It's key. Scripting, Linux. If you have a very good background, I think you can do anything in cloud security.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this entire platform is definitely not just for the experts, it's for the beginners, it's for the intermediate, it's for the experts. So would you mind just throwing a little light on scripting for the newbies here? Because I understand what scripting is, but then I think just having to give them an understanding quickly of what scripting is
Okay.
before we move on.
Now that's fine. So, well, scripting is still programming, but it's a little bit, some people classify it like a little bit different. Yeah, different in the sense that in scripting, there's nothing like front end, back end, all those stuffs that you do in full development. So, scripting is more like probably a bash script or Python script that you can just use to automate stuff. That's it. And that's what you need basically. If you want to go beyond that to be building tools, yeah, you need a full-blown maybe knowledge about programming skills and all that. But I think Python is a good place to start. If you Python is a good place to start learning Python, and it's kind of simple compared to other programming language like Java
True,
or C.
true, true.
So Python is a good way to start. You never know. I mean, you could pick up Python, and in 3 months, you could be very good with it. So I think it's about also giving time to this stuff.
Hone in your skills, right?
Yeah, you need to give time to it. If you're not giving time to it, you can't improve. And if you can't improve, there is no company that will want to accept you. That's the key. Then again, going into the cloud, you need basics. I will use the word basic knowledge of security. I'm saying this because your interviews will not will not be strictly on the cloud platform you're going to use.
True.
Yeah, I will say that your interview will not be strictly based on the cloud platform you're going to use. Having a general security knowledge is very key. For example, DNS. How does DNS works? How does HTTP works? I mean, things like PKI certificates, other stuffs. How does it work? Cryptography. How does it work? All those are basic knowledge in security. You need to know them. Otherwise, they will ask you a very simple question and you will not be able to answer it. And it is very simple. So it's very essential for you to have that basic knowledge of security. It's very, very key. So that's my contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So just quickly, there's a question. I would read it out. So it says, what can you say about networking? Is it that important as scripting?
Okay. So networking, scripting, yes, they are different things, but they are aligning now. I mean, when you look at any network engineer doing well right now, they are using scripting language to automate their networking solutions. So there is nothing like you doing networking and abandon scripting. Back in the days, we did that and we paid for it now. Back in the days, we left all those stuff. We were doing stuff on boxes like Cisco routers, switches, and we were configuring other stuff. Yeah,
Mm,
as beautiful as they are, right now, when you look at Cisco curriculum, they have Python there. They
true.
have scripting
True.
to help them with the configuration. It aids anything that will aid your deployment to go faster, anything that will aid your work to go faster, any organization will adopt it. And that's where scripting comes into play. So no matter where you are in IT, I think scripting is, you can't escape from it now. That's the trend.
That's very true. That's very true. Mr. Collins, would you want to say anything before we move on in respect to the question?
You mean networking and scripting?
Yes, would you want to say anything?
Okay, so as long as security is concerned, I would give it to networking and security. They are and scripting. They are like a backbone. If you find most times, this is a personal observation. I have seen most CISOs, or say most successful CISOs, you would find them at the early stages of their career. They had a good background with networking because networking is almost everything. Then scripting, if your technology, IT generally, and then security, to be specific, if you are not able to at some point start automating certain processes, then you might phase out. You might phase out, and you might not be able to catch up with trends and to perform certain tasks. Because I can remember, like in our SIM solutions, let's take for instance the Microsoft Sentinel. At some point you will need to automate repetitive tasks, or let's say you're getting alert on a particular incident and you've noticed that this particular incident keeps coming in, and that the remediation is the same. You can decide to say or to put up a script, automate the process of the remediation. That would save time, that would save a human resource instead of so just to say, if you are supposed to have with scripting, you can have let's say two analysts doing what could have been manually assigned to 10, because they could reduce a tedious task from 100 to 20 on what they have to contribute on it.
Hmm.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. That's actually very, very true. That makes a lot of sense. I think ultimately the both of them are very, very essential, really, really essential. It's just important to know when to apply which and when not to apply which, because at the end of the day they are both working hand in hand. So let's move on to our next question. I don't see anyone. Okay, let me see. I think I saw another question. Okay, so the question goes, if one is taking a free AWS foundational course on Coursera, is it necessary to take the cloud practitioner exam or just go straight to the associate certification after building beginner projects? Should I say that again, or you've all completely assimilated it?
And you
Do I
can say
take
that again. Yeah.
Okay, do I take it again?
Yeah.
Okay. So if one is taking a free AWS foundational course on Coursera or any platform I want to believe, is it necessary to take the cloud practitioner exam or just go straight to the associate certificate after building beginner projects?
Okay. Do you want me to go first?
By all means, you, of course, you
Okay.
can go first.
All right. So for that, if you're doing foundational courses in AWS, I believe you should start with the practitioner exam. The reason is I'm not too sure what the context is in the Coursera course. I don't know if it covers everything in solution architect. So, but by all means, it should cover for practitioner exam. So I would suggest going for the practitioner exam first and see how you do. Then you can now build yourself on going for the solution architect.
Okay. Collins, what do you think?
Yeah, in same vein, it's always best practice to when you are starting, start from the very basics. Do not take anything for granted, or yeah, do not take anything for granted, because if you feel that, oh, this is just the practitioner exam, I should jump, I already know all this, and then move to the associate. Along the line, in your career or in discharging your duties, there are very little things that will pose as bottlenecks for you, and this as a result of just basic things that you're learning from, that you're lacking from what you would have been able to catch up with in the basics. So there's no point skipping.
I agree, actually. Definitely agree to that. Because, tech generally is very foundational. So if you skip step one and go straight to step five, you need to understand step one, step two, step three, step four before step five. So
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think it's best to first of all take the basics, which is the practitioner exam, before moving on. So thank you, our speakers, for doing justice to that question. So moving on, what are the most critical skills and knowledge areas that young professionals should acquire to stay relevant in the tech sector? What are the most critical skills and knowledge areas that young professionals should acquire to stay relevant in the tech sector? So I think,
Okay.
okay, okay.
Let me start.
All right.
So critical skills for young professionals to stay relevant, they are not many. I will not say too many things. I will just say three things. The first one, we've talked about it. That's the scripting part, very, very essential. The second part is the data. Now, I believe I've done some projects, I've been in so many teams, and I know that companies deals with data, especially if you're working with big companies. They deal with data, and if you can query data efficiently and be able to put in some analysis on the data to become an information for the company to move forward, I think is a very good skill to have. Ability to query data, very, very good skill. Apart from scripting, if you can have that ability to query data, I think you will go far. The third part is try to leverage on the new technologies. Like, for example, I would say things like machine learning, things like AIs and all that. If you can jump into those areas and bring them into security, I think you're going to do a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. So there are a couple of initiatives that are going on in with regards to machine learning and security, and a lot of people are building stuff in that area. So the reason is it is actually cutting the time to respond to incidents, especially if you're coming from incident response angle. It is cutting the time to respond to incidents, and also there are a lot of things you can do with those AI stuffs, even when it comes to penetration testing. There are a lot of things you can bring it to the table with those machine learning AI stuff. So if you know the technology, if you know how it works, and you know how to integrate it into security, I think you're going to do very well. That's my
Hmm.
honest opinion.
Hmm. Hmm. I love to hear that. I love to hear that. Collins, what do you think? What are the most critical skills and knowledge areas that young professionals should acquire to stay relevant in the tech sector?
Okay, so I would say Belove already spoke on the hard skill side. I think I would like to shed more light on the soft skill area. So a lot of young people, they grow up, they jump into tech, and they believe with their technical strength and abilities, they can be able to jump any hurdle. But you find out that when you see a combination of someone who is highly technical and then combines it with the soft skill, the person goes much longer a long way than just someone who has the hard skills. And in examples of this is most often seen maybe in the back end developer guys who just wants to hear, okay, this is the problem, we need this fixed, and the person gets it fixed. He's not interfacing with anybody, he's not getting into any boardroom or anything. But if you're able to grow skills like people management, now it's not just for leaders, but even followers, because if you are part of a team or if you're working as a part of a team and you're not able to understand your team members, you're not able to understand your leader or whoever leads the team, it's going to be a problem for you. You wouldn't have the conducive environment to execute with the hard skills that you are exceptional in. And then again, listening and communication. Communication is very vital for a growing tech talent, because if you're not able to engage, if you're not able to communicate effectively, you will be missing out. Now, in terms of security, you can imagine someone, let's say a client or the management of your organization, getting you into a meeting and then they are explaining that this has happened, we need certain controls in this environment around this resource and all that. And you acknowledged all, you left the meeting, you get back to your system, your workroom, your workspace, and you are confused. Like you don't totally understand what is the message that these people have passed. What am I supposed to do, and all
Yeah.
that. So I would give it to. I would add that as the soft skill area, which every tech talent should endeavor to make. Like they should make active efforts to get it to the bag for themselves too. Otherwise, it's at some point there might be a limitation to your growth, because everybody
True.
is not going to remain just an engineer or whatever. You must at some point transition to become a leader or manage some other people in your career. That is growth. So for that growth to happen, you must bring in those soft skills too. Thank you.
True, true. I also, I'm always agreeing because you guys are always on point, always stating the very fact. Because it's just very similar to a scenario where we have the saying that it is one thing to get to the top, but it's another thing to sustain being on the top. So your skills can definitely get you to the top, but then that character, that's the soft skills now specifically, knowing how to manage your time, better communication is what is going to sustain you there. So I think it's very, very important to have both the hard skills, which are the technical know-how that will get you there, and then the soft skills to sustain you on the top. So thank you very much for that. So there's a question, but I want to believe this question is basically on the fact that we need a little insight into query tools. So I think Belove mentioned that. So the person asks query tools like SQL or no SQL database. In essence, what do you mean when you refer to query tools?
Well, I'm not specific about query tools. I was only specific about being able to query. Now, using SQL is a general query language you can use. So learning SQL will actually help you, irrespective of the kind of data you're having or the platform you are querying from. In AWS, there's something they call Athena. Athena, you can use it to query some of your data and all that. But when you look at Athena codes, Athena query, they are also structured into SQL. So having that understanding of how SQL works will actually help you, irrespective of the platform you are.
Hmm. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so our next question is in. I want to believe. First of all, I want to believe that that question has been answered. Nobi, I believe your question has been answered. So our next question is: in the area of tech industry changes, should one learn two cloud service providers, or how does one know which one to choose currently?
Okay. Should I go?
Yes, you can. You can go.
All right. So in adapting to change, I would say one at a time. Yes, you could start with. I think first is for you to do your due diligence, understand. But we know who are the big guys when it comes to public cloud. We know of AWS, we know of Azure, we know of GCP, we know of Alibaba, Oracle, then it continues to degenerate. But at least for the first three, you could say, okay, I am going to get become an expert in one, or I started with AWS, then I transition, or I equally try as much as possible to understand what happens in Azure. Because what that means is that you cannot restrict yourself to just an organization because I believe for everyone who is starting, we don't have startups here, so you are not dictating what platform whoever you're going to be rendering your services is going to be choosing. So if you say that you've been working on the cloud and an opportunity comes up and then it's saying that, okay, we have most of our resources on AWS, you are not, it's not so cool for you to so much make excuses for being just an Azure person. Okay, so it is okay that you understand how every cloud platform works, and then you can continue to deliver on the one you have at hand. That's the one your organization is currently working on. But the good thing is that most times it's just a difference in what would I call it, like taxonomy, like the resources and how they all work are the same. Just that in Azure you could find out that okay, we call this is the name. Or in Azure we have virtual machines. In AWS we have EC2 and all that. But how these services work, they are all the same. So it is good not to restrict yourself in just under just one cloud provider. Yes.
Okay, how about you, Belove?
Yeah, I mean that is the answer. I mean, you you don't you you shouldn't try to do both at the same time. Just take it easy. I mean, take one. Like he
Yes,
said, they let me use the word they copied each other. So
true.
let me just use that word. So they are similar services. VM in Azure, EC2 in AWS, and the way we call our services might just be different with it. I know we have Lambda. They too they have what they call Lambda, but they might not call it Lambda. So,
Yeah.
so they have when you start learning, when you learn a service, or sorry, a cloud provider, and you go to the other one, you realize that it's going to be faster for you to understand it
True.
because it's the same concept. Like I
True.
said, having the knowledge, foundational knowledge of maybe security or IT is very, very
Exactly.
good
Exactly.
for you to before you enter all this cloud because it's still that same knowledge. It's just that they are doing it in a different way, but it's still the
True.
foundational knowledge. If
True.
you're trying to query anything or trying to do one stuff or the other, it's still the same foundational knowledge that you have. So
That's
it's,
very true. That's
you
very
can
true.
work with any cloud provider if you understand any one of them.
Yes, that's very very true. I was literally about to highlight that fact because once you understand the basics, that's all you have to do. Every other thing is just it's just like when you have a bed and the bed is a different color. That's literally just what it is. So as long as you have, like most of them are said, as long as you have a foundational knowledge and you understand these concepts, it's just having to apply them in different situations. That's basically about it. So okay, so the next question says, as newbies, we've been honing our skills, but we lack real world experience. I reached a point where I wanted to contribute to open source, but nothing like that. What guidance can you offer to this in this regard? Would you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, you can take it again.
Okay, so as newbies, we've been honing our skills, but we lack real world experience. I reached a point where I wanted to contribute to open source, but nothing like that. What guidance can you offer in this?
Okay, so if I got the question correctly, this is like someone who has spent all his time learning and no opportunity to really practicalize, right? Okay, so first, I would start with where our environment here in Nigeria, and I know that certain things are still very possible. Very possible. The best way to penetrate organizations is to let them know that you're not coming for their money. But this is something, it looks quite archaic and traditional, but it is something that still works. If you reach out to organizations and you are applying to just come and intern with them, I have these skills. This is my CV. I just want to come and work with you guys for some time. And you're not talking about whatever is going to be the compensations. You're going to record an 80 to 90% chances of gaining the opportunity to utilize your skills. And in the same vein, when you start solving problems for these organizations, and when the time elapses, maybe it's 3 months post NYSC or 6 months after NYSC or whatsoever, these people must have seen value in you. In fact, in so many occasions, you would find out that you're already handling these real-time projects, and they can't even afford you. They can't even afford to hear that your time has elapsed and you need to leave. No, you have to complete that project, and from that process, um, you've gained your experience, and then you are gaining employment. Yeah, I think that's my contribution on that.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's completely right. In that sense, I will just diverge a little bit. So if you have been learning and you're looking for a way to contribute, I think you can actually, okay, let me put it this way. If you are a developer, or probably you're a developer, you don't, I mean, nobody is trying to get you or employ you and all that. That shouldn't stop you from spinning up project and put it on your GitHub. Now, I will say something about this. There are some people that they might not have the job right now, but they are building their resume by creating stuffs and putting it online. Now, if you're trying to reach out to any potential um, employer, and you tell him that, oh, this is what you've done. You can check it out on GitHub or check it out on a particular website or whatever, or probably you're writing a blog or you're doing some stuff. Let's say, for example, you're a malware reverse engineer and you've reversed some malwares and you've put in some mitigation in place. You have a write-up on that and it's online and all that. All these things are part of the things that will actually sell you. So it's not coming from the fact that, oh, this guy does not have any experience. No, they won't be looking at you from that angle, even though you are fresh. So they won't be looking at you from the fact that, oh, we have to train this guy. No, you're not training him because he's done a couple of stuffs online and these are good stuffs.
True.
So that's another way to sell yourself. Rather than you saying you
Waiting for
can't, yeah,
opportunities.
waiting for them. You don't need to wait. You can do your stuffs, put
Create
it
your own.
online, and you put it on your resume, like probably your GitHub link or whatever you have those stuffs, your artifacts. You can just put it on your resume, and you try to go to places like this. I mean, where people talk or where people have meetings and all that. You see a lot of people there, managers, people who are looking for talented people to work with. They might actually take a chance on you. There is a very high possibility they will take a chance on you because the people they are working with might not be as good as what they are seeing on your GitHub page. So they will pick interest on it. And so don't limit yourself and don't get discouraged. That's my message. Don't limit yourself and don't get discouraged. Try and put your stuff outside. You never know. Maybe someone from outside, maybe in Europe or America, might just see your project and say, "Hey, can you come and work with my team?" So it's a global audience now, not limited to Nigeria. It's a global audience. Anybody can call you out.
Yeah.
So don't get discouraged. Just put up your stuff online, and yeah, something will come up. Definitely.
Hmm. That's very true actually. So it's just very similar to us having to not wait for the opportunity, but rather having to create the opportunity. So even when it seems like you can't get hands-on experience, just like most of the speakers have said, as long as you're willing to show that you can do it and put it out there, there are definitely people who are willing to pay you for those skills. So the next question is, are there internships remote or in Nigeria for junior cloud engineers stroke practitioners?
Of course, there are internships. All we need to do is to look out, sorry, to look out for them, both remote and remote abroad and remote in Nigeria and on premise or physically in Nigeria too. There are internships. It's just to look the right way and and to knock on closed doors, because if you're looking through the regular channels, maybe waiting on LinkedIn to see if a company comes up to say that we have advertised internship positions and all that, you might not be able to see it there. And even when they do, when you look at the number of people who already applied, you would realize how competitive it's going to be for you too. But if you're a little bit proactive yourselves, one thing I would always tell people to do is to first find yourself. When you find yourself and you realize what you want to do, you realize the kind of skills you want, then you look around to say or to see which organizations around the world will be needing my skill set, my services. Then you can then proceed to, maybe you could first list out those companies. Let's say give yourself a task, get to a list of 20. And when you get this list of 20, you can get to LinkedIn, you can get to their web pages, and then being proactive. Okay, I will tell you what I've done myself. I look at people's profile. Let's say I am a junior cybersecurity engineer, or I am a cybersecurity enthusiast. When I get to LinkedIn, I could look at profiles and say, oh, this is Belove. Belove is a group head with a financial institution. Okay, maybe I need to tell him about what I can do. I can connect with Beloved, then give him a rundown of my skill set, not to bug him, but make it very snappy. This is what I can do. This is what I have done. I will be very excited to welcome any internship opportunity with you or your organization or anyone that you know. He receives the message. He might read it and not respond because there is no immediate thing as such, or he doesn't have the time yet. But already he has seen it. And by the time you run into one, two, three, or four people, you will be able to meet someone's need just at the moment. Oh, this guy said he does this, and this is actually what we've been looking for. We've been trying to get someone, even a paid hire for this. So they don't have anything to lose. They could bring you in and then allow you, give you the opportunity to showcase yourself. Yeah.
Hmm. Believe, would you have anything to say? Believe, do you have anything to say?
Okay. Well, I've been out of Nigeria for a while, so I might not know so many things about internship with companies. But what I can say is this: I will give you an example of myself. Um, when I started working in Nigeria, I started with Weco Systems, and I don't know if they are still there anyway, but I started with them. I was into security stuffs, firewalls, and all that. So I knew in my mind that I'm not going to stay long there. So there was a day one of my friends got an opportunity to um, speak with someone in UBA. I don't want to mention his name. He's a popular guy in Nigeria, a popular CISO. So he had an opportunity to speak with him, and he was not responding very well, unfortunately. And he now told me that he didn't respond very well to this guy and all that. I now said, okay, do you mind giving me his contact? So I got his contact and I called him on the phone. I said, I got your contact from a friend, and I saw you're looking for security engineers and all that. And I sold myself actually. And I said, okay, fine, that I should send my CV. And I sent my CV to him that day. And he called me the next day for an interview. And when I went for the interview, I did well. And the rest is history. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes you just have to be bold enough to reach out to some of these guys. Like Colin said, uh, any way you can, if it's on the LinkedIn, if it's anywhere. I mean, after that period, me and this particular person, we became very close in the sense that when he left, he called me that, do I want to join him? So I left the bank after some time. I went to another bank because of him and all that. So we became very close. So anyway, so he's a very popular CISO now. But what I'm trying to say is that you can build relationship through this. You can reach out to anyone. Don't be afraid that they will tell you no. It's normal. It's normal. People will tell you no, but just reach out. Reach out. Reach out as much as you can.
Hmm. All right. So, what are the easy to access resources you'd recommend for the scripting and automation skills, especially for Python technology and the person that's already into data structure and algorithms?
Data structures, algorithm. Anyway, I think the best thing to do is to look out for. I have a couple of Python. I mean, what's it called? Python courses online. I don't know if I can paste one of them here. Do I have the opportunity to paste here? Let me put it here. Mimi, if it's possible, you can just put it on the group.
Okay. I think what we can do is we can just send it to the user group, to the WhatsApp user group. So please, if you're not part of our user group, please let us know because we'll be sending the resources there. So maybe below after this, you could just send it to me, then I'll send it to the group so everybody would have
Yeah.
access to it.
Oh, okay. You can start with this. you can start with this Udemy. I mean, there are other Udemy courses which could be better potentially. So you might just look into Udemy and probably look for yourself and see if anyone makes sense for you. There are definitely some advanced ones, especially with the data structure you're talking about, machine learning, I believe. So there are Python courses specific to those things. You might just want to look out for them on probably Udemy. I think you should start with Udemy courses. Start with them, and you might see the one that really suits what you're looking for, and you can just start with that.
All right. With all the questions we're answering, I am definitely sure that most of us are enjoying this session. I am definitely enjoying it, and I know our speakers are enjoying having to answer our questions as well. So, moving on to our next question. Are there any notable industry trends that young professionals should be aware of when considering a career in cloud security? Are there any notable industry trends that young professionals should be aware of when considering a career in cloud security? So,
Okay.
Colin, you can go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. In speaking notable trends in terms of let's say data leakages and what poses threats to to organizations, and as we continue to evolve. So I would talk about, let's say, misconfigurations on systems. These are things that poses risk and threats to most organizations of recent and going forward. So stuffs like misconfigurations in systems, and then the advent of remote work, having people working around the globe, all from their separate homes and all that, getting networks exposed and more susceptible to attacks. And then, yes, with remote work comes around to the issue of BYOD, bring your own device. When you are bringing your own device into an organization, and if there are no adequate controls that are set in place to manage these devices in the organization's network, it's actually a very big threat. But then I think this is on the organizational side. So these are trends, these are things that has been ongoing. So as young stars who are developing or looking out for a career in cloud security, just like we've been discussing, it will be nice to have first, if you're able to, because talking about cloud, on-premise security, and even physical security, before you can secure anything, you need to understand what you're securing. If a police officer is to go and carry out an operation in Akure, this, first of all, maybe there should be a unit. Even if there is no unit, that particular team should be able to do like an aerial surveillance to understand who they are going to meet, what are the threats like, these criminals we are going to attack, what do they look like, how sophisticated are they, and all that before you delve into their terrain. So likewise, cloud or cybersecurity as a whole, if you do not understand the entire IT estate, maybe you do not understand the cloud computing as a whole, you might be focusing or channeling your energy so much on one or two things and not realizing that you have 10 more left. So I would urge us all to invest more on gaining domain knowledge. It's not just about security, but understanding how the resources as a whole work, the IT assets, the services, and even the people, yes, because most times you find out that organizations, they spend heavily trying to acquire solutions, trying to acquire solutions that could help secure their organization. But at the long run, when you start tracing um, an incident that has occurred, you take it down to maybe a single user or two who are not well informed. They are not well informed. Yes, you have the solutions in place, but these people, they are very susceptible to attacks like phishing and all those things. Yeah, so we should understand the domain, have a good domain knowledge, and then with that, keeping up with trends, subscribing to newsletters, and personal research on our own. Yeah.
All right, that was quite insightful. Belove,
Yeah.
what is your take on the issue?
Okay. I'll just build on what Colin said, and it's more about looking at the trends for me. Looking at the trends. For example, we all know that DevOps is a thing right now. If you're into maybe system administration, or even if you're a developer and all that, you want to look into DevOps because it's more of a mindset when it comes to DevOps. But there are tools that you need to familiarize yourself with, and the different cloud providers, they do have their tools. For example, in AWS, we have what we call code pipeline, code build, code deploy, code start. But again, you can learn DevOps in other platforms also, and things like Dockers, containers. These are things that it's currently in use, and I won't be surprised if uh, most companies are using those platforms because you can easily scale your business, you can scale your applications, you can do a lot of stuff with it. So these are things that these are the things that are on the trending part of IT currently, DevOps. And I don't want to mention AI because we all know what ChatGPT can do, but there are a lot of stuffs in that aspect also, especially generative AIs. There are also security issues regarding to that. You will have learned about deepfake, what they call deepfakes, where you can digitally forge image or videos and all that. So these are cybersecurity issues on that. So um, my take on this is follow the trends in terms of security. Just know one part of security and try to build on it in terms of bringing its automation, bringing in machine learning, all those stuffs, big data, all those stuffs into what you've learned or what you're doing in cybersecurity. You can't learn everything in cybersecurity. You can pick a space and be very good at it. So that's my opinion.
Hmm. All right, all right, all right. Do we have any questions for them? I hope you're okay. Yes, I'm okay. I just came down with a little flu, but I am okay generally. So please, do we have any questions before we move on to our next? This next question is actually very, very interesting because it's one thing I'm personally very most interested in. But okay, I don't see any questions. So our next question is, what advice do you have for young tech talent who are looking to build a strong professional network in the industry? What advice do you have for young tech talent who are looking to building a strong professional network in the industry?
Okay. Um, I will just say two things. One is have a good character. It's very, very important. Interacting with people, and if you want your interaction with anyone to last longer, I think it comes with your character. If you have a good character, I think you'll be able to align with a lot of people. You'll be able to reach out to a lot of people, and you'll be able to, I mean, not putting yourself in a kind of position where they can sense the pride in you. You don't want to be in that position, especially when you're young and upcoming. You need to have a good character. That's the first thing. The second part for me is don't be shy to reach out to anyone. Don't be shy to engage people on LinkedIn. You can add them if you want. You can ask questions. I've seen people ask me so many questions on LinkedIn. Don't be shy to engage. Don't be shy to go into programs like this where you meet people. And I know a lot of people join other programs where they have talk shows and all that. Don't be afraid to join them. I mean, that's where you meet people. Like I know women in tech, women in security, all those kind of stuff. If you're a lady, um, don't be afraid to, join those group and you meet people. You try to collaborate with them and all that. So you never know where you will need them. But yeah, that's how you meet people. Thank you. I think Mimi is not here. I don't know. But Collins, do you have anything to
Yeah,
say about
okay.
this?
All right, so just to add to what you have said, character is a very strong thing, character and integrity, because what this does to you is that when you've developed yourself to an extent that people can speak good of you, recommend
Hello?
you in yeah, we can hear you.
Please, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we
Loud
can
and
hear you.
clear.
Okay, sorry, my network just went off. So Belove,
Okay,
what is your own take on this?
I already said my what I
yeah,
wanted to
Okay,
you have
say.
already concluded that I was speaking.
yes, Colin, sorry. Colin, what's
Okay,
your own take on this?
all right. Yeah,
I think
so
Belove
I
is
was
speaking
just
for the
adding
most
to
part.
what Beloved has said. I said first, you have to make sure that you've built your character and integrity. People can take you for your words. People can trust your abilities and all that, to the extent that you trust that people can speak for you in rooms or in meetings or in gatherings that you are not part of. They can speak for you and they can speak very positively, because what happens most of the times too in the industry now is that you find out that, okay, let's say even for starting from employment, promotions and all that, a name could pop up and someone could say, oh, this guy, yes, I know what he can do. This guy, yes, I know what we can do. So in a gathering of five, if three people or four already spoke so positively about you, I think you already aced it. That's in terms of recommendations, and even in promotions, when you've started working, your name could rise, and then you find multiple um, people rising against rising against the mention of your name. That speaks to the need for you to really build character and integrity. And then as you move, because work is not as it has always been, we know the terms of our parents that you would find someone in the civil service. And for instance, like me, I know my mom worked 35 years and it was all in a single organization. But today you find out that by the time by the time you're concluding or you're handing off or you're deciding to get into your own personal business, you might have engaged with 10, 15 organizations. So as you're leaving your footprints, if it is really on a very good note, recommendations will continue to come from there. And at some point, they will be trusting you for even people that are coming up. Let's say you leave an organization and you've advanced in such a way that, okay, yes, I am no longer this role is no longer for me. But then I can say, oh, Siso, I have this boy that can do this job for you. And because he trusts me, he will equally trust that I am going to give him someone who is going to be able to equally deliver in that job. So it's a two-way traffic. And once you have the handshake, you'll be good. Character and integrity, like Beloved said.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow, 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 wow. So it has really been a very, very informative session. And we're down to our last question for the day. I really wish we couldn't end, but what has a beginning definitely has an end. So our final question is, what advice do you have for young people generally who would love to get into the cloud space? And whatever you're doing right now, this is just going to be a finalization. So you can just finalize, talk about what you want to talk about finally before we now get to the last, before we finally finish. So you just talk about your final advice and maybe whatever you love to share with the audience so we can wrap up.
Okay. So my final advice is don't give up. I know it, especially for you guys in or trying to get into security. It's kind of I've seen a lot of trends on this particular aspect. A lot of people want to get into security and they are not given the opportunity. What I would say is don't give up. Keep learning. Keep doing the labs. Like I said, if you have the opportunity to have something like a tool or things you're building yourself, put it on GitHub and all that. Don't give up. Keep reaching out. Keep learning, and keep building your character also. And don't be afraid to meet people. And I think that is my advice to you. And I believe opportunity will come at the right time, but you need to be prepared also. Learn the basic fundamentals of security. It's very, very key. The basic fundamental is very, very key. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Belove. I'm calling it over to you to tell us what you
All right.
finally
So
have to
from myself, I would go back to all we have said, and then say that continue to improve yourself, continue to improve your skill sets, because sometimes a connection on LinkedIn or anyhow, your father or mother could get you to a table, and then it will be much easier for that person if the person trusts what your abilities or what you are able to do. So that means that if I can be able to get you into this interview, or you have to write an aptitude test, first you're able to deliver on that, you're able to advance yourself to the interview panel, and you're able to finally ace it. Nobody is going to do that for you. It is your continuous improvement, you investing in yourself, and keep trusting. If you are in Nigeria and you are hoping to start off from here, you keep trusting, because the tech space generally now, globally and even in Nigeria today, is I think there are a whole lot of opportunities, because spaces, once people advance themselves, they begin to look higher. So as they are dropping off those positions, those are vacancies. Like, there are a whole lot of vacancies in the industry, and most times the challenges is that you don't get to find people with the right skill set to fill up those vacancies. So narrow down what you want to do: cloud security, cyber security, DevOps, DevSecOps. Concentrate and know your onion, and don't stop announcing yourself. Celebrate your little achievement. I know it's big, it's almost becoming would I say boring, or how would I put it, on LinkedIn. But don't stop announcing yourself, because you don't know who is watching, you don't know who is viewing. Most times, the reason why you find out that you made a post, 5,000 persons viewed it, but only two reacted, means that at least 5,000 people have been able to look at what you have said, or what you've posted. You made sense to them, or you didn't make sense to them, and all that. So anybody could pick you up from that side as well. So trust yourself, continue to believe in yourself, don't stop announcing yourself. You are the best brand for yourself. Yeah, wish us all the best. Thank you very much.
Wow, wow, wow. This was definitely an interesting session. Please, a quick round of applause for our speakers. Clap for them from your rooms. They deserve this and more. This has been a very informative session. I can't really emphasize about how blessed I am to be here, how happy to have this session, and a big thank you to our speakers. You were eloquent in your speech. You answered the questions rightly. You hit the nail you hit the nail right on the wall, and everything was just very perfect. So thank you very much for that. And then just quickly, if you would love to get more information on what we're doing, how we're doing what we're doing, just to keep up with the AWS community here, please follow us on our social media platforms. You can just check us on Twitter, we're definitely on YouTube. And then for those who had mentioned wanting to be part of the WhatsApp group, please drop your email address and then I would reach out to you. So drop your email address and I'll reach out to you and then walk our way from there. So thank you once more for coming here. Thank you, Collins. Thank you, Belove. And everyone have an amazing day. Thank you and stay blessed. All right then.
Thank you, everyone.